very good evening, everyone. A very good evening. Great. So today we have an esteemed experts of group. So we are in conversation with the people, the experts from the industry. So we'll be talking about scaling fashion brands in India. So quickly we'll be starting with the questions. So first of all, I'll be asking about the opportunities and the trends that the companies are seeing, the fashion brands are seeing in the industry. So first of all, I'd like to ask the first question with, to Harsh. So how do you see the overall fashion industry uh, growing and overall fashion landscape in India?
So I feel that this is just the start, and the fashion industry, as we all know it, is rapidly growing, especially in the organized sector. More and more unorganized sector is being converted to the organized. I recently read that e-commerce in India will be 5 times by as soon as 2030. So I said, अब कुछ भी नहीं करें तो भी 5 गुना तो business वैसे ही हो जाना है. So, and of course, we are making all sorts of efforts, and there's a lot of innovation happening in this space. COVID also taught us a lot of things, and I think Indian market is the place to be, and it's just gonna go on from here.
Great. So moving ahead, just wanted to understand from Akriti, I mean, how do you see the overall opportunities that are there in the retail fashion landscape?
Hi, firstly, thank you so much for having me here. And yeah, I think the opportunities are immense. Like Harsh also mentioned, there is going to be a growth in consumption, particularly India. We've crossed the inflection point where the per capita income is over $2,000, and people are expecting the consumption overall to increase. And a majority part of our population is also the millennials, Gen Z, who give us a great opportunity. As an e-commerce brand, House of Chikankari is only selling primarily through its own website right now. So that's a great opportunity for us because a lot of people are moving towards shopping online. The penetration of e-commerce is increasing. So definitely lots to capitalize on in the next few years. Yet the challenges for e-commerce brands also stand a lot because there is a majority part of a population which has not adopted e-commerce yet. But I think the opportunities are far more than the challenges are there. So definitely the next decade is something that as fashion brands, we're all excited about.
Great. So next question is for Shivani. Like, how do you want to see the overall growth of your brand as you are a newer brand and you want to scale in online space? So how do you see the overall growth perspective going ahead?
So I think that the biggest thing that you do need to get right is product market fit. We've been in business for 7 years now, and I think that that is pretty solid going by the fact that we have good retention, that our CAC is consistently low. But more than all of that, I think it's important to have a clear brand vision of what you are bringing to the market that is differentiated from what is already out there. So for us, our value proposition is that we understand what Indian women want, and we want to give them a product that's good value for money, stands out on Instagram, is in line with global trends. And I think once you have that in place and you sort of build your brand around that, it becomes that much easier. Another factor that I think does help women focused brands at this point is that in India, unlike most other major markets of the world, apparel buying is actually skewed, at least online, towards men instead of women, because of the fact that women in India don't have as much discretionary income. There are a lot of women in India don't work. As we see that trend change across the country and more women enter the workforce and more women have discretionary spending power, I am more bullish on anything that women want, whether that's fashion, skincare, makeup. So anything that makes women feel good about themselves, anything that caters to a core need of theirs, I would be bullish on brands that are building in that space and getting it right there.
Great. So Udita, just wanted to ask from you, like, how do you see the value proposition is important? How do you see that importance of value proposition for a brand? to stay ahead of the competition?
So we believe that value proposition is the only thing that can actually create a difference today in this market, which is of course like in the last 5 years there's this many D2C brands have come up. So what you're selling as a brand, your brand story, is something which people believe in. There's a KPMG report which says that 75% of people actually buy from brands they believe in. So the belief story becomes very important. The proposition that you're selling becomes very important. For us, our story around inclusivity, sustainability, bringing everyday office wear, everyday comfort wear to the consumers has led to the women see brand as a very close brand in their wardrobe. So value proposition, brand story are extremely important today.
Great. So, Umar, just wanted to understand from your perspective how important it is to be ahead of the competition, and what are the things that you plan to strategize and you plan to implement in your business?
To stay ahead of competition.
Yeah.
Competition तो हमेशा आगे चला जाता है. No, so I think look, I want to pick on what she said. I mean, not pick on what she said, but continue on that. What she said was very interesting for me. That she said, you know, we do comfort clothing and daily wear clothing, and what we say is we don't do that. If you want comfort clothing, we are not the people. We are occasion wear, and we do only occasion wear, right? I think what I have seen is two things in the competitive space for our category. So we sell ghagras, so we sell sari, salwars, lehengas, or ethnic occasion wear category. What I have seen in this category in India at least is that you have many players, but is anybody very sharp and deep focused on occasion wear? They are very few. So a lot of people have kind of started doing multiple things within the same brand, and that kind of dilutes your proposition of what you're offering to the customer. So for you to be able to be relevant and ahead of competition, obviously there are many things, but so long as you are very focused on a very specific niche and you go really deep into that and you make sure that any customer who wants that particular product is, you have the best offering and the best service in that, that's one very good way to get ahead of your competition, right? So beyond that, I think there are so many other things, whether it is multiple channels, your network, the tech that you use, and multiple other things that you can do to stay ahead of competition. For us, I think there are a few. I'll talk about a couple. I think one is, you know, a deep and sharp focus on the specific category. A lot of people come to us and say, "Are yaar, tumhare store mein you have so many customers coming. You sell to so many brides. Aap jewelry bhi bech do. Aap kurti bhi rakh lo side mein. Bik to jayega hi. Customer to aa hi raha hai." And a lot of different people come and say different things to us, right? But we are very focused. We are very focused on doing that one thing that we are good at, and we want to continue to do good in that one specific thing. That's a very important aspect of what we do. I think the second thing is, I very strongly believe if you need to scale a brand, look, everybody has a different journey. You may be at a 50 crore, 100 crore, 200 crore, 500 crore. Eventually you want to go past your 1,000 crore number, right? Without tech, you just can't be ahead. You just can't scale without tech. So for us, tech is at the core of our business. Our entire business is driven by tech, though we sell ghagras. So that is a very important and relevant differentiator. And tech doesn't mean कि आपके पास software है, ERP है, आपने bill कर दिया. Tech means that you can make business solutions, you can make business decisions using technology, and that is real time. And that is what is very important. So for us, I think I'd talk about those two and close that.
Great. So, Udita, just coming back to you once again, like as we see a lot of competition in women apparel also, and to cater to a different set of, the consumers. So what kind of technology that you use in your business to stay ahead?
So we try to automate as much as possible. And as Umar said that tech is very important. So in fact, many brands look only for automation today. So for us, every communication that we do to the consumers through which channel we should do that communication, whether it should be an emailer or a WhatsApp, or it needs to be an ad that should be showing it. It is all data led. And with that, we've actually considerably seen our CRR dropping, so which directly impacts the profitability as well, of course. Along with that, automation in our backend, which is supply chain. We have a strong ERP system for our supply chain to track how we are consuming our consumption to final deliveries are mapped through ERPs. Our warehouse is automated again. So we're trying to build automation at almost every point of the business, backend as well as front end.
Right. So, Rahul, just wanted to ask from you, like, how do you use technology and innovations?
So, I think like, as you say, fashion is a very interesting market, and everyone is a consumer of fashion. Is very vast, and also I've not met even a single person who has just one brand in their wardrobe. So it's not a market of winner take it all. There is every time there is a space. So what technology plays a very important role is to understand the audience and also to provide them what they are looking for. And if actually you have to scale, width is very important when it comes to an e-commerce platform, because if you only send online, that amount of traffic you're generating through your different multiple marketing channels, be it organic, be it non-organic, but then to make sure that you value their time and how they spend their time on your platform, something comes from the technology. So we use a lot of AI. We're also working using AI in our designing our collections and all that stuff as well. So yeah, technology is everywhere, but still that's not our character. Our character is very, like you can say, naturally. So that is what who Urbanic as a brand is when it comes to telling our story. But when it comes to building our infrastructure, we are very technological heavy.
Great. So, Umar, just wanted to understand from your perspective, like how do you plan to scale your brand ahead? Because you have, you have got the funding and got the investment. So, from that perspective, how do you plan to invest that part? Will you be investing in technology more, or will it be in offline expansion?
Okay. Interesting question. पैसा मिला है कहाँ खर्च कर रहे हो? So, look, in terms of expansion, I feel like there are multiple different things that you need to do to scale a business, right? I think first you need to establish your business to say you've got the right product market fit, you've got the right unit economics. Ke bhai, if you sell it at a certain level, paisa ban raha hai. You know how to make your money, and then you think about scale, right? So I think initially what happens is when you get started, you do a lot of jugaad to do a lot of things. So getting from 0 to 50 crore, 50 to 100 crore. So there are different journeys. 0 to 50 is a different journey. 50 to 100 is a different journey. So we've gotten to that part right now where we've reached up to 100. But getting 0 to 50 was very different. Lot of jugaad, lot of ye wo chal jata tha. 50 to 100 also we managed with some, reasonable set of people. But when you start scaling beyond that, at least for us, that's the stage we are in now, there are a lot of different things that we are thinking about. So one is your channels, right? So you can scale online, then you will add a marketplace, then you will need offline, then you'll figure out stores in stores, and then you'll figure out multiple other channels. I think one very important thing that we learned is that don't go everywhere. Pick the right ones that work for you first and scale there. Make sure that unit economics works well. Be profitable and slowly scale beyond that. And we add a channel at a time. So there is one way of scaling where you're increasing your sales channels across and trying to see how much revenue you can get at what unit economics in each of those channels, right? That's one aspect. The second aspect for scaling, what we figured is, what got you here won't get you there. In the sense, when you are at 100 crore, what you needed was a different type of a mindset, a different type of a team, and a different type of a throughput. But when you need to go to 1,000 crore, you need to have a very different mindset and a team. So for us, today when we are building the company, we are not looking at a 200 crore or a 300 crore business. We have an eye on, if we need to get to 1,000 crores, what do we need to do today? And we have started to build the team. I believe it's very, very important to have the right team to execute. You just can't do it all. Most founders I see fall into the trap of trying to get involved in everything and doing everything. And one very important aspect is you need to build a team. So for me, a lot is about building the right team. And building the team also, I learned, is not an easy task. When I say that, what I mean is it takes a few years for you to build a team because you will hire different people. Some people will stay, some people will not work with you, right? They have their different thought process and what they want to do. So building a team is very important. So we are investing a lot of money in building the team. From a very specific perspective of where we are investing the money. So as Koskii, we are a profitable company. We have set up a unit economics such that it makes money. For us, we believe that offline is the way to go for a brand like ours. Because we are very heavy into occasion wear. So we sell bridal ghagras, we sell very high value products. While as of today, 45% of our business comes from offline and 45 from online and 55 from offline. We believe in the longer run it's going to be 70-30. And that is why a lot of the investments that we are doing will go into our offline space. Other than setting up the team, offline space and some bits in technology.
Great. So building a team is the key here.
I believe so. If you want to go to sleep on the weekend, yes, you need a team.
Great. So from Harsh, I would like to understand from your perspective, like how do you see building a team is the key, and in terms of investment. So I mean, companies invest in offline expansion, online expansion, or both. So where do you want to invest your money?
So I completely agree. It's a great team that makes a company a brand. We ourselves believe very strongly in having an amazing team around. And for us, we are also a very young team. I think 80% of our team comprises of people who are fresh out of college. And that's where we've found our niche. And we've groomed them, we've trained them. And we've realized that the next generation which is coming in is super smart. There's a difference between us and the people who are coming out of college now. There's a world of a difference. They are very, very tech savvy. They are super quick with their logic, with their thinking. So that's one thing that's really worked for us. So we've never hired very expensive people in the team. Rather, we developed from the scratch. And I think the average age of our team is little over 24 at the moment. And we are completely bootstrapped. We are profitable. We believe in a sustained growth. But consistent growth is what we are after. Profitability is something we have a deep concern for. So whatever we invest in has to have a payback. That's why we are very, very careful about where we put our money. We are at 16 stores right now. We could have been at 100 if we wanted. We've been only 5 years into this brand journey. But we are very, very picky with where we open a store. It has to be the best of best. It has to come at the right price. It has to be the right size. We also follow Vastu, so it has to be right Vastu. So a lot of factors come in. As well as online, we sell 95% on our own website. Again, we could have, kind of spread ourselves to so many marketplaces, but we chose not to because we wanted to give that end-to-end customer experience to our clients. So we stayed put. We've been very patient, and we are building from there. We are not just trying to reach somewhere very quickly, rather than building a very solid fundamental and a solid foundation and consistently growing from there. So that's how we are growing our business.
Great. So, with the same context, I would like to ask Aakriti about the scaling part and how building a team is important, and as you work with a lot of craftsmen. So, how important it is to build a team with a set of new ideas, and as you cater to the new age and the old age also. So, how important it is?
I think the team is everything, honestly. I have learned so much. We're like a 3-year-old company. 2 years post our website. The first 1 year, we were just out of Instagram, just my mom and I out of our home. So it's been 2 years since we took the decision to launch a website and build a team. And I think I've learned so much more in my life from the people, who've joined our team. And 100% without them, nothing of this would have been possible. And I think the one thing that I felt personally that changed for us, though, last 2 years, we were getting a lot of people, like Harsh said, like from colleges, straight out of college and everything, and it was working really well. But now I feel that like we need younger people, but we also need some experienced people, because our learning now needs to deepen with them, from them. So now that's where we're at least like internally, that like we feel more experienced people are teaching us and, giving us the knowledge that we all need as a team internally. So yeah, I mean, but it's definitely everything is the team. I think the right mindset, the match between the vision of, the founders like my mom and me and the team, it's super important. On days when I'm down, I'm crying and I'm like, I don't want to go to office, I'm sulking because sales are low, your team lifts you up, they believe in you. So those days are really important, right? Because they've seen you on the good days, but on your lowest days, they also pick you up. So as a founder, you also need that. That is like really understated and never discussed, but you really need that. And I think a lot of times when I'm low, like my team has just come and like come in the room and like just told me that, just relax, it's fine, and let's go out for an hour. Like we'll have a coffee, we'll come back. So I think I personally have really learned a lot and I've gained a lot of emotional support as well. So it's been great. And yeah, I mean, now we're a team of 120 plus people in 3 years. And yeah, a lot of good days to go with the team, but definitely nothing without the team, for sure.
I just would like to add a little bit to what she said in terms of experienced people and in terms of freshers and the energy. I think we should exchange a bit of our teams, because the average age of my leadership team is 40. Right, too old. बहुत बूढ़े हम लोग. But what I wanted to add to what she said is the problem that we face as founders is that you're expected to know marketing, you're expected to know finance, you're expected to know HR, you're expected to know retail, you're expected to know online performance. You're just expected to know everything. So the problem we face is that कितना सिखाओगे? तुमको ही नहीं आता है ना? Beyond a point, if you need to scale a brand to 200 crores, 500 crores, you need to get very technical and very detailed. And you should have been there and done that. Otherwise, nahi aata hai, right? It's not so easy. So initially we did what you guys did. And at some point we realized that, abhi isko kya sikha, mujhe nahi aata. So we had to get people who could teach us. And that is when it became more important to build that senior leadership who's been there and done that and have experiences of scaling brands to 1,000 crore. So you know what journeys you have gone through, and then you work on trying to map that journey to your own organization and help you go through that same journey, right? That was very, very important for us when we were building the team.
Great. So building a team is important, right? Investment is important in the right direction, in the right channels. So like Rahul, just wanted to ask you, like how do you invest in terms of social commerce, in terms of marketing? How do you invest?
So, Urbanic, at Urbanic, influencer marketing plays a very important role. Because if you see, our consumers was very young, and they are very tech savvy, and they are very consumed with social media. So when it comes to social commerce, it's a very interesting space to grow in. Again, how diversified the Indian audience is, you have to actually tailor your strategy really well when it comes to influencer marketing, when it comes to content creation. I think content plays a very important role in any marketing strategy we do at Urbanic. And we treat content as an asset. And our bifurcation of the detailed influencer marketing, like last year we have worked with 2,500 influencers. And it's not like all of them are same. We've tried to reach out to different audience with different messaging, because as everyone here believes in storytelling. And it's very important that how you tell your story, who's telling your story, and also when it comes to how they create the content. Everyone I meet, like they treat content creator and influencers as same, but they are very different. Influencer is someone who influences, and content creator is someone who creates content. And I think detailing is luxury, and when you build a strategy, it has to be very detailed. We have a very segregated strategy when it comes to platforms, when it comes to the type of influencers we are working in and working with, that help us to gain a lot of UCG. Till now, we have been able to get more than 1.7 lakh content pieces on social media, which is a very good number for us, and 78,000 content pieces just for our influencer marketing, which is able to spread the word about the brand. And have actually gained us a lot of traffic, and we also are very performance driven when it comes to our branding campaigns as well. So it has also shown us a very good ROI, and we have worked on a very detailed strategy in how to calculate this ROI, because that is something which is very, very difficult, and that is a challenge for everyone, I think. And but it does has an ROI, but it's just have to be very goal defined. How do you calculate your ROI? Also has to be very strategically placed with what kind of influencers you are working on and which social media platform you are catering on. There have been wonderful examples when I was surprised when people have not even posted the content and have their codes have orders more than 1 CR. And like we sit down and we study how it's happening, why it's happening, and yeah, and everything has an answer. And social commerce is something which is very tricky, but something very helpful.
Great. So Shivani would like to understand from your end, like how do you see social commerce as a growth channel, and to grow a brand, how do you see to be present in social commerce or offline channels? Which is the most important thing for your brand?
So currently we're a digital native brand. We have a very limited offline footprint. Mostly we're on our own D2C, which is www.uptownie.com, and on the marketplaces. But I would like to echo a lot of things that Rahul said. Social commerce is very pivotal for our customer. They are much more likely to buy something from their random scrolling on Instagram and coming across an influencer wearing a particular product than they are to buy from an ad that I am putting money behind and showing. So that is an insight about our consumer, particularly the Gen Z consumer values authenticity over everything. So they don't want something to be force-fed and put down their necks, but they want to be able to organically discover it from somebody that they trust. So that is an extremely important component of our marketing as well. And it's my personal belief that that is going to be more important than ads or than any sort of performance marketing that we can run, because it builds long-term trust and retention in the brand. And is also net less expensive if you do it well than it is to simply blast an ad on Facebook and Instagram, which is just at the end of the day, a lazy way of marketing your brand, and the storytelling component, which is extremely important for somebody to connect with a brand. They want to feel at home in the brand. For us, that's the storytelling I want to do. I want people to feel like the brand is relatable, that the brand is accessible, that the brand understands them, understands their occasions. They understand the fact that Indian women like certain kind of colors or cuts or whatever. And that storytelling has to come from a real person who they already follow. So I think social commerce is pivotal, and I don't see it going anywhere. There's a lot of articles all around the place saying Gen Z is losing interest in influencer marketing, and Gen Z cares more about hearing from their friends rather than an influencer. While there might be some kernel of truth there, I think sort of getting the influencer marketing game right is still very relevant, and I don't see that changing, at least in the next 5 years.
Okay, so Harsh would like to ask you the same question, and like how social commerce is adding a brand pull for Mulmul.
So I think most of us know that for Mulmul, social commerce has been very, very active from the word go itself, and that's the reason why most of the brands here exist, because of social commerce. Because for a startup, it's given a huge opportunity to start out, spread brand awareness, drive visibility, then finally drive conversions. So at very, very low cost, like tomorrow somebody decides to start an Instagram account, can start selling his product or service at virtually no cost. So it's put all of us on a level playing field with the big giants out there. That's why so many homegrown brands have come up in the recent past. You don't need multi-crore budgets to get started. So that's something social commerce has provided. We believe in very organic way of influencer marketing. All our collaborations are organic, and like the panel mentioned that people need to believe that the influencer is wearing the outfit because he or she believes in it, and that's where it'll actually drive the value. That said, performance marketing also plays a huge role uh, in where Mulmul is today. And at the end of the day, if you know who your customer is, there is enough technology available out there to get you to that right customer. It's about, first of all, you getting the product right, you knowing where the who your customer is and how to reach the customer. And of course, that said, the creative content plays a huge role in that you have to be able to tell your story the way you want to present it, the way it is, and the way you believe in it. So a lot of factors come together for something to happen. Like it's not just one thing that needs to be in place. Everything has to come together for the results to show up.
Great.
I would just like to add a point to this topic. We're talking about influencer marketing, and I agree with Shivani that we need to get it right because we've been doing it for a few years now. High engagement, like tracking the matrix, the data is very important. High engagement does not mean high conversion. It does not even mean traffic to the website. So to get that right today is become, I think the key thing in influencer marketing today is to get that understanding right and the right mix of, are you wanting high engagement or are you wanting traffic conversion, and accordingly place the influencers and the activities that we are trying to do as a brand. So that part of getting that check right, whom to collaborate with, what is it leading to, what kind of audience they have, that depth of understanding has to now start building in this influencer marketing vertical, I feel. Because like 3 years back I used to say कि इंडिया में 2 चीजें सेल होती हैं, बॉलीवुड और क्रिकेट. आज हम उसमें इन्फ्लुएंसर मार्केटिंग भी डाल देते हैं. सो बॉलीवुड, क्रिकेट, इन्फ्लुएंसर्स. बट अब इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का डेप्थ इज समथिंग दैट we as brands and companies need to really get into.
So just influencer marketing is the key, or do you think product innovation should be there and the consistency to provide the consumers with newer products or the newer things that they need? So this question I would like to ask Umar.
ओके सो आप कितना भी इन्फ्लुएंस कर लो, पहली बार कस्टमर आ जाएगा, आपका प्रोडक्ट ठीक नहीं है तो टाटा बाय बाय. सो आई थिंक एवरीथिंग इन एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रिवॉल्व्स फाइनली अराउंड द प्रोडक्ट, because that's the only thing that can sustain you in any business. So any sort of marketing and anything that you can do can get you eyeballs, can get you people, can get the footfall to your stores, can get them to their websites. The first time they will all buy. But once they do that and your product is not right, then it's the end of the story, right? You will never be able to sustain that business because you will need to bring the customer back again. So it is always, so marketing is getting people in. Your product should tell rest of the story. Now, what is interesting for me is we are talking about, social commerce, where a social media influencer is going and, getting people to come to the stores. 30% of the customers that come to my offline stores are referred by मेरी आंटी ने बोला कि यहाँ जाओ, मेरी नानी ने बोला, या मेरी बहन ने बोला, या मेरे ऑफिस में किसी और ने खरीदा इसीलिए मैं यहाँ आ रही हूँ. So there is social commerce beyond, the digital spectrum today. And how do you gain that social commerce? You're gaining a social capital, right? People are talking about you, whether it is digital or offline. In the end, you're able to bring the customer to your store. And what makes that happen is your product. And of course, when it comes to product, there is innovation in terms of, how good the quality of your product is, how good the design of your product is, how quickly you can bring in new designs, and how quickly you can pick a trend and then get the people, make it available to the people. There are multiple things around the product. So it's not only about marketing, it's a holistic approach is what I would say.
So with this holistic approach, so Akriti, how do you focus on the products? Like you have, intricate clothing. So, how do you plan to keep your focus in the future? And do you maintain the product innovations? I mean, you come up with the newer products, and do you keep the pricing with the balance of newer products that you're coming up with?
So yeah, I do agree with what he just said about the quality of the product. And since the inception, like I think our focus has been quality first. And when we started 2 years, 3 years back, we did not have big budgets to spend on performance. All we were relying on was our Instagram to build a social like community, because it was for free, and that is the only thing we could capitalize on at the time. And I think other than that, a few barter collaborations here and there with influencers, right? But at the end, what led to people like coming back or driving traffic to our Instagram also, I would say, is exactly people liking the quality of the product and going and telling someone that, oh, I like the fabric quality, right? So this is exactly what worked for us initially. So since the foundation, we kind of made it a rule within the business that quality comes first, because we let the product do the talking for us. Everything else is an effort that will amplify and the effect, but eventually it's the product, right? Because that is something that someone is going to wear on their skin. It's going to touch their skin. They're going to remember it every time. The feel is good. They're going to like remember it every time they feel good in it. So the feel factor of the fabric and the outfits that we make is very important to us as a brand. And that's what we focused on. That is something I think we will intend to always focus on, because we've seen the bright side of it. So that is something that is there. And yeah, in terms of intricacy and we're an artisanal brand. We are dealing in handmade products, which are all hand embroidered. So the quality of the craftsmanship also becomes important along with the quality of the fabric. It's not been easy. We've entered an unorganized industry, which is primarily like there's one store of Chikankari in every store. So when we entered at the time, it's still unorganized. About 80% of the art form is still unorganized. So for us, it's been a journey trying to put the right standards of quality towards, making sure that the embroidery quality is finer. It's done with proper protocols in mind. It did require a lot of trips that my mother and I took to Lucknow and villages around, where we like made some certain standards that are important to quality for us. So quality is important for a long-term sustainable, growth and a long-term sustainable brand. Otherwise, after 2, 3 years of after purchasing once, the customer is never going to come back. So I think having those foundations in place from the start is super important.
Great. So social commerce is important. Product innovation is important. So would like to ask about the offline expansion part. Like, the brands present here are mostly online brands, but with the offline expansion plans in mind and with the right investment in hand. So how do you plan to grow your presence in the offline market? So Harsh would like to understand from you.
So we are an e-commerce first brand, and frankly, initially there was a lot of discussion whether we should go offline or not. And then we kind of experimented with one store, and we kind of started growing from there. And our initial apprehension was that the offline stores might eat into the online pie, and to our surprise, whichever new city we go into, open stores, the online sales also increase of that city. So they're actually complementing each other. There are cases where a woman will walk into the store, she buys an outfit, she likes it, she knows her size with the brand, then goes back home after 10 days, makes a purchase online. Or vice versa, she likes something online, she wants to go feel it first, try it first to the store, so she goes to the store and buys it. So they're actually complementing each other. So anybody who's online and thinking about going offline, I would say it's not going to eat into your existing business, but actually going to increase your business. So that's one learning we had. That said, offline is a different ball game altogether in comparison to online. I would say that anybody, only when you are completely set in your existing online business should you think about going offline, because you need a different team, a different mindset, different systems, different inventory management, different technology. Everything about offline is different from online. So they are actually two parallel verticals that one has to run. Also, for us, we are a bridge to luxury brand. We are only there in very, very premium pockets of the country. Unfortunately, in India right now, the spending capacity is limited to very certain corners of the country and in certain pockets only. So we were also very careful about our expansion plan that way, and we are very picky with the locations we open at. So that's the currently our challenge, how to go beyond these 10 cities, because uh, we definitely like to take data backed decisions, and fortunately for us, our online numbers kind of drive the direction for us. They tell us where the demand is, and right now 80% of our demand is coming from the top 10 cities of India and not beyond, which we've already penetrated. And so we are also hoping and waiting for the other cities to come up, where there are tier 2 cities that are coming up very rapidly, and they are the future. But at the moment, we are focused on the top 10 cities. Within those cities, we are expanding into various premium markets, and other than that, we continue to grow online.
Great. So Umar would like to understand from your perspective, like how important it is to be present offline. As you mentioned already in the beginning, but how important it is to be present offline.
Look, I think if I take the case of Urbanic, he's the only one company that I've heard who has scaled to a 1,000 crore plus business and still making money and still online. Honestly, I have not met anybody else who's done that. So I think for any brand, you could, from my perspective, from whatever we have learned, uh, offline becomes a necessity in terms of being physically present. I think what is important to understand is that the physical manifestation, the strongest physical manifestation of your brand is your offline store. That is where people go and experience your brand. You can never give that experience online, right? So it's difficult, it's harder, it's slower, but it is a long process. But once you set it, it's very sustainable. So offline is also, if you do it right, profitable. So the difference I find between offline and online is, online, the more time you spend and the more you scale, the more money you lose. Offline, the more time you spend and the more you scale, the more money you make. It's the opposite curve. So the way we look at it is, online is absolutely necessary. Why is it necessary? Today we are sitting in Bangalore, but we ship to 10,000 pin codes or more in the country. We could have never created that visibility with our offline stores, right? Though we make money. So today, if I'm coming to Delhi, 6 months ago, we didn't have a store. Now we have a store in South X. But 6 months ago, if I came to Delhi, people still knew Koskii. People could talk about Koskii here because we were online, right? So we use online for discovery. You obviously get revenue from it. And it becomes a channel where people find you, connect with you, engage with you way before they want to buy the product. That can't happen with just offline. But being present offline as an argumentation of your online becomes a killer combination. So for me, if any brand needs to scale beyond a significant scale and be profitable, offline is absolutely necessary according to me. That's my perspective.
Great. So Udita, what's your perspective on this? Because you are planning to grow offline now.
Yes, so I agree with Umar. From a long-term perspective, offline has to happen for a brand. We are currently in about 8 to 10 SIS. So that's the route we've taken right now, where we're exploring our offline journey through shop and shops with the key retailers of the country. And thankfully, the results have been really, really great. And that has given us the confidence to look at absolute EBOs for ourselves. And I agree with Harsh. Again, data is what is telling us where to go, what, and as in what to try. Because clearly, when we through SIs, again, data has told us whenever we've gone into a city, the contribution from that particular city has increased for us in business. So our route is going to be similar, data led, where we look at possible cities where the business can be, of course, taken up further. And we will, however, have a very slow expansion and see how it goes. And if all goes well, then we'll probably open as we were discussing, maybe 30 stores.
500 stores.
So, but yeah, today it is SIS and we're looking at opening offline EBOs.
Great. Just one last question to Rahul. Like, you have been present online only.
Yeah.
So, you have been growing at a very large scale.
Yeah.
So, how do you see the importance here? I mean, to be present at the other channels and other platforms.
So yeah, so we are also like considering. See, offline experience is very important, and I completely agree on all the points they have shared. Although scaling online is also something which we have really cracked in. Again, when it backs up the points which I mentioned earlier, which was content and an approach where we actually use social commerce. I see a lot of companies now working towards building a social commerce platforms. And I think by using other platforms, we have already done that in some extent, where we were able to communicate about the particular cloth through our consumers through the content. And that's how the conversion was very high. And again, when online, the width is, which I say is important, we really worked and focused on that part as well. But we really like and want to actually also give users an offline perspective. So currently, we have not decided anything on what we'll do offline. But then as we are present in other markets as well, we have done huge pop-ups in Mexico and Brazil. And we had a very good turnaround through that. And so I work with all the markets very closely. So every market is very different. And India is like there's all the markets in this market. So we are definitely working towards building something offline. We'll start with an experience of pop-up stores and all this stuff on a very long-term kind of a stuff. But yeah, I think the further scale is also going to be a mix of online and offline. Yeah.
Great insights, Rahul. So hope everyone would have seen and the brand's growth, and the brand growing online more these days are growing. So just two last questions from the audience, if anyone would like to ask.
Hi, am I audible? Yeah, hi. Ashutosh Pandey this side. So I have an establishment called as House of Bananas. And basically the core principle of House of Bananas is to take social initiatives through products. And this is what, if you see, social media has done. It says social media, different media, and same thing we are doing with the products around us. So House of Bananas has different verticals. One of the verticals that we are doing right now is called the White Bananas. And this is into intimate well-being and hygiene. We've got male, female washes, water-based lubricants, buttock creams, scrubbers, etc. My only question to you guys is, so when we were diversifying into apparel industry, we came across with different mindset and brand owners who were only struggling with the binary concept of customers as men and women. And the country has moved forward from the binary concept. And whereas now everybody, be it cosmetics or be it clothing, if you see the website, it says men, women and kids, men, women and kids, or just men, women. Why can't we do something which is called as gender neutral? Because we are doing this, and that's the reason we told you that the core principle is social initiatives through products. So if a man is buying intimate wash, he is liking a female intimate wash as well, and he's saying, I'll use this. But the intimate wash, which is female, is not saying that we are gender neutral. So we are doing this. We are doing this with clothing as well. So I think House of Chikankari, as you have shared about your journey. So I think Aakriti, what clothing you are wearing, I have seen this clothing people wearing in the state of Punjab. I'm talking about males. So if imagine that you are listing this SKU in your website and putting a third category which is gender neutral, I think you will have more sales from the business point of view. So what are your thoughts on gender neutral? Because I think fashion industry can actually take it forward, and we can, surpass the level of New York, London, LA, Singapore, Dubai with this initiative. I personally feel so. So we are open. House of Bananas is open to lease out or rent out or even give it complimentary to brands of clothing label industry. But we need some people who can take this initiative, and that's the reason we are here today to have your thoughts on gender neutral. And yeah.
Yeah, so firstly, like I'm all for gender neutral outfits personally, right? But I feel like as a society, India is still accepting a lot of these norms. A lot of these norms are very well accepted within the Gen Zs. And you see on their social media, they're very open about it. And I think it really depends on what the target consumer of the business also is. So for us, right now, we are focusing more on the millennial side of consumers and also older, slightly older, 40 plus, 45 plus, where the acceptance rate may not be as high, right? While I'm all for it, and I'm pretty sure in the next 5 years we will see more brands adopting it. But unfortunately, I think it's the consumers who like lead the way for the brands, because till the time the acceptance doesn't come for us, the fear is to take it forward and like incur huge losses as a business, right? So I feel for us, because right now Gen Z is still a category we haven't explored fully. uh, we once we like start capturing and targeting more on those side, we will definitely accept it. And I'm pretty sure this is a trend to follow. In the next few years we will see the change. And it is definitely great what you guys are doing. We need more brands like this. I also feel people now, the Gen Z and millennials, this is exactly what they need. They want more transparency. They want more stuff like this. They want more of these topics to be brought up by brands, because they can associate themselves with the brands stronger when they're talking about these causes. So definitely there is a wave of change that has started. But I don't know what is the right timeline, if I can define till when it will be fully matured.
I think this is the reason why, I'm
Yeah.
proposing you personally to everybody, even in the house, whoever is interested in. Somebody has to take the lead, so we are doing it, and that's the reason we are saying that we can sublease it to brands. We can even give it to brands complimentary for a year to, do experiment with one SKU at least, and categorize it as gender neutral. So that was the only thing that we thought. If a lip balm can be used by every gender, then why not lipstick? I mean, we also have, so guys can also use it. I mean, guys smoke, and then we go to Bella Vita or, XYZ brand, and then we are scrubbing our lips. Instead of that, if we need occasional makeover, as we say makeup, we can use a mild lipstick that is matching with the original tint of our lips. But we don't see that. And we are facing that challenge because we are not really seeing more players who are participating. So, yeah, I mean, this is open to everybody, and whoever wishes to join can also answer and can also, have us with them.
I think we had a collection which was unisex, and I think gender neutral clothing already exists, and I was actually gonna ask her to I like what you're wearing, and I've already imagined a cord set in this, and
I personally was thinking, because I really liked it. That's why I gave an example of the state of Punjab, and I really like the outfit.
Yeah. And I think it will take little time to get into the market very completely, but it also depend on how do you communicate it. So gender neutral is gender neutral. It's not like a cross gender. So,
No, so I'll just add up. Sorry to cut you down. So this is a big challenge in the gap. That how do you communicate? So that is where we enter with a label and a mark that we are trading with. So if you have a merchandise and you have two labels which say prices and your own, let's say House of Chikankari or let's say Urbanic, you also add up a new label which is saying gender neutral. And while you are on e-commerce, you can add up a third category which says gender neutral. So when I, as a biological male, let's say perfectly straight, want to buy something which is quite feminine in the outer word, but I like it, so I'll straightforwardly go to the gender neutral category and I'll buy it. Lip balm and lipstick, again, come back to the classic example that why does lipstick has to be targeted and positioned with only females everywhere? I don't see any brand, any website saying lipstick is now for guys. Because lipstick is lipstick. It's not, a feminine lipstick. It doesn't say that. So it's very difficult to accept the fact. And the reason why I am pinpointing out this in today's event is because fashion industry can actually change this taboo attitude, because you guys know that fashion is the complete freedom of your personality. So I mean, I just want to welcome you that.
Completely aligned on this, and we already have a lot of boys shopping from Urbanic, because I go through our social media also very closely. It's not only people who are into like cross dressing or something like that, but then I've seen so many people buying we have certain numbers also of boys who shop from Urbanic. So yeah, it is growing, and it's quite very interesting.
Yeah.
What I see.
But anytime you guys wish to do it, please feel free.
Yeah, and also it's very interesting how to plan the communication for this, because the content, everything will have a very good strategy to it and fun to
Correct.
do it. Like
and
that.
for label fashion industry, this is going to be the same time as it happened with social media. People who were on social media in 2015, 14 have capitalized, and rest people are now at the bottom of the chain. That's, I think, the thing. So I think fair enough. Thank you very much.